All right. Welcome to episode 20 of my live stream. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I had some camera issues, so hopefully this is better. It should be this specific camera. Like there was some issues with OBS, but actually I think it'll be better resolution, which should prep us more for the indie review show, which is the show that I do with Corey Kerr, where we like review shows, and it's my turn to kind of walk through a comic. So hopefully that cam is better now. But now I got that all fixed up, and I still have comics I have to do. So I am working on the 100 Days of Making Comics. I'm on day, let's see, day like 43 of the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge. I am working on thumbnails for page 93 of Two Stories Book 2. Book 1 is out on Amazon. It is a story about a memoir that grapples with questions of faith, mental illness, depravity, and ultimately redemption in a fallen world. And it's 120 pages that I think are pretty nice. And it took me about 5 years to do. My goal is to try to cut that at minimum in half. And so in order to do that, I need to make progress on book 2. And so what I'm doing is like these thumbnails that are also like more simplified roughs. So it's like a hybrid between thumbnails and roughs. Definitely a lot tighter than I would usually do thumbnails, and a little bit looser than I would usually do like rough pencils. And we'll see how this goes. But I think this will cut down the time on the second book. Usually I'll like provide a lot of content. I will say I did the art casters, and we interviewed Russ Leach, which was really cool, about like fulfilling crowdsourced, crowdfunded comics, and that was really cool. So check that out. That's actually on my channel. If you're watching this on Twitch too, I'm still like, I'm brand new to Twitch, so I have like, I think like 2 subscribers or something, or 2 followers. But if you're watching and you want to see that, it should be the previous video on either YouTube or Twitch as Art Casters with Russ Leach. So very good, very interesting, very much worth watching. Right now it's like really early in the morning, so I'm gonna just try to gun through the thumbnails that I need to get done. And I already got a good start on this on the art casters, but the conversation was so interesting, I got kind of lost in it. And so I got to knock out the rest of this to try to get this page thumbnailed out. So let's get into it. And I'm also going to move my stream over so that, if anybody shows up, which I doubt because it's like 1 in the morning, we'll see how that goes. So my hope is within an hour, come hell or high water, I'm going to be done with this stream tonight. But I definitely wanted to make sure that I'm still showing up and doing the work that needs to be done. Okay, and let's see here. I do want to see the last panels, and I think the last panel was something like this. Okay, there wasn't much last panel. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna try to kind of do a little bit of a scene that sort of shows. Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm gonna be roughing this guy out, and I want like two characters that are kind of sitting in chairs across. She's on the right, he's on the left, as long as that's consistent. And then there's, I believe, like going to be like a kind of open doorway type plan. Maybe this is one of those sliding glass door type things. And then it's going to be, there is like a window here, and that'll do it. Okay, so now I need to have, this is going to be the police officer, but he's going to be saying, um, legally, I think actually it might make more sense to have type. I was going to put the type up there, but I think the type in the far corner where it would say, okay. Legally, we can keep him in jail for about 2 days. I was pretty excited. It seems like I got a decent jump in subscribers on my channel, and that made me really happy. I'm not sure what exactly led to that, but thanks to everyone who subscribed to my channel. It's really exciting to kind of finally cross that threshold and get to that like 1,000 mark. So if you haven't yet and you're watching this show, I go live pretty much like it seems like almost daily, usually fairly late at night Pacific time, sometimes early in the wee morning. And yeah, you can subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll get a notification when I'm about to go live. Not every show is going to be like today. We're probably not going to be doing much talking because the goal here is to get as much done as I possibly can, as quickly as I possibly can. All right, so here we go. Gonna have getting some kind of messages. Cool. I love it. Did he have glasses? No, he doesn't have glasses. He has more of like a very like generic kind of, okay. It's a plain clothes police officer. Here he's going to have his hand out like that. He's kind of explaining. And that should work pretty well. I wonder if you should have like a side holster or something. I feel like that might be cool. Let me see what that looks like. Like a detective side holster. Detective side holster. Ah, that's good. It's kind of funny. I feel like that should do it. It's going to be more like, yep, have him as like a plainclothes officer. Let me pull up the stream again. Okay, so he's going to be like wearing a side holster, which might complicate it, but whatever. I think that'll be cool. And then just to catch you guys up on the story, so basically, the this guy is basically a police officer. We've gone to a detective to sort of mention our concerns about our crazy neighbor. And right now, like the detective is kind of walking us through a bunch of questions, and we're sort of finding out what we're supposed to do in any case. So this will be there's like an old school lamp on the desk. It's going to be like one of these. It might be like kind of important. Okay. This is going to need to be like less, but at least this is kind of working out sort of the rough layout of the page. So now I'm going to have, let me remind myself again. Okay, yeah. It's here. And this should actually work kind of okay. I think that I was wearing, what is he wearing? Okay, Pedro the Lion shirt. That's a good band. There is a band I really dug called Pedro the Lion. That was pretty good. They wrote pretty like kind of high concept albums, but like kind of like almost like depressing folk, but like artsy music, and I was really into them. The live stream yesterday was a lot of fun. I got joined by Paul Pate and Corey Kerr and Jim Lujan. All kind of stopped by, um, and it was super fun to like kind of chat with everybody, have like a late night hangout. That can always be really cool. So that was cool. But today is going to be more of like a zoom through these and get this knocked out because I got to get this page done. And kind of try to keep the tempo. And my hope is I can be done in like an hour or less. I will be in pretty snazzy shape to kind of proceed forward. So, sort of establish the lighting. There's definitely going to be like some shadow under these characters. One of the things I love about shading, like thumbnails, is it gives you a better sense of like what it is that you're kind of working out. So this is definitely looser than my thumbs have been so far, but that'll be that sequence. Ooh, did I just forget to draw? I forgot to draw a character. I was in such a rush. Okay. What was she wearing? Ah, okay. She's wearing like a blouse kind of thing. So here it's going to be. It's been kind of a good day. I definitely am looking forward to the weekend. my son has been really obsessed with these Who Would Win books. They're like pretty awesome books, actually. It's a whole series. I'm not sure who publishes them, but it's like a whole series of kids' books where it's like who would win, like an orca or a shark, and it'll go through all their details and stuff, and like sort of I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I think here I was gonna have her hand up here, but that seems a little strange if both of us are doing that. So I'm thinking this will be more like hands folded kind of thing. So there we go. Once again, these are thumbnails slash roughs, so they don't need to be perfect. They just need to work out the sequence. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna have like another chair here. Okay. Drawn people sitting down. So now we're at 16 minutes, and that wasn't too bad for like working out that panel. So I think that'll work. It's actually pretty good. Okay, I like it. Let's keep going. So now we got this second part. Gotta have my notes. Okay, now I need to have okay, so I think I'm gonna do let's see. Cool. Okay, I need to see this template because this will help a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna have, oh, and I need to save one of these in my folder of like final stuff. That's another thing I've been doing is any references that I'm compiling, I'm also trying to throw in a reference folder so that as I'm finishing the final thing, I won't have trouble kind of navigating and finding references. Okay, so here we go. Restraining order. Okay. This, I'm going to move over here and have this say, this will be another, once again, the structure of these comics is usually a 9-panel grid that I then kind of break out of creatively at different points. But the general default is going to be 9-panel grid. And that kind of allows a little bit of a framework. So for things like this, okay, so this is going to say, so they had us file a restraining order. Here we go. I do wonder if I showed that cop on the previous page. I want to double check that. Good, we didn't, I don't think. Okay, sweet. So we're still pretty open with that character, which is good. Okay. Okay, I have an idea. At first I was like not sure how to make this interesting. But I do think like just having a semblance of like a character here would make it more interesting than just a hand and differ it a little bit from the other panels. Okay. And then this will be sort of where we get the get like kind of a thing set up. There we go. And voila, got these wonderful panels coming through. And this will be where it says, okay, 110 temporary restraining order. Oh my gosh, that is a giant piece of paper. Okay, we're going to actually correct that a little bit because this is the beauty of doing thumbnails. And then obviously when I get to the final of this, it's going to be a little bit tighter and, well, a heck of a lot tighter. So if you check out the first 2 stories book, you can see what I'm talking about. But I tend to work a lot more tight and detailed, but like these are thumbnails. And they kind of act as like a map for the final work. And then once you kind of get through those, like then you can kind of move on to finals and not be super restricted. So that's still huge, but I think that might work. Yes. Okay. So that's going to be one name of person. Okay, whatever. And then this is going to be okay. And then there's just basically going to be a big map here. Name. Kind of a thing here that's going to have a bunch of data. And now I can kind of zoom out to where it's like, okay, we're going to have like checkbox. This literally doesn't need all the detail. Okay, this will be like, that would actually be 2. And then 3. And this is going to be kind of there. Here I'm going to have that cup of coffee that cop is sipping on. Oh my gosh. This is the worst cup of coffee I've ever drawn. Okay. So, hey, it's Frank. How's it going, Frank? What you up to? I'm trying to do a much quicker page because I literally have to crash in about a half an hour. So my hope is to like kind of knock out my thumbnails and stuff a little bit quicker. What are you up to, Frank? I also feel like, Frank, you have relatively odd hours too, I'm guessing, because it seems like either we're at a like, well, there's probably a massive time difference, but I feel like you're usually up when I'm up, which is kind of cool. Thanks for joining the stream. I don't know if you got to catch Artcasters. It was pretty cool. Wait, you were totally watching Artcasters. I remember. Um, yeah, it was neat to like talk to Russ and get some inspiration going. I actually want the cop's hand here because I think that just makes it kind of more interesting. So he's got like a little, like he's a cop. He's thumbing his coffee. Got an interest in coffee things. All right, there we go. Finishing up the last page of this mini, and then also going over a redesign and lost track of time. Yeah, sounds about right. I had camera issues on that camera, and I had to get it fixed because on Monday, for the indie review show, it's like my turn to flip through a book, and I need the capability to do that. So OBS kind of wigged out, and luckily, like Corey was nice and kind of worked with me and helped me get it back up to speed. Wow, that is the strangest hand, but I'm going to let it pass because I think that works. Okay, I might need a little refill of coffee too, so that's what I needed for that. A lot of paperwork on this page. Okay. Taking notes of where I am. Yeah, it's 4 a.m. up late drawing. Yeah, me too. And then there's this strange show called the Indie Review Show saying that Corey guy sure is a helpful fellow. Yeah. But seriously, now that Corey's gone, let's talk about him. I'm just kidding. um, yeah, yeah, right, Frank. Russ is a good dude. Smart, smart advice, and a lot of, I think, very helpful for cartoonists and aspiring artists and stuff, and a hella talented artist too. So yeah, so let's see here. I'm breaking so many rules. You're not supposed to start a sentence with but I'm doing it because I'm a lawbreaker. And I'm not going to use a dot there. I'm going to use boom, that. I just realized what is wrong with this grammatically. Do. Okay. So this is going to say but warned. Okay. I need to refill the coffee. I'll be right back. I'm going to refill my coffee cup. Stay tuned. We're making progress, though, on this page. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let's get back to this cop. All right. So he's got a shoulder holster, guns on the right side. Okay, cool. And here he's going to be saying something, so I should probably... I'm going to have it over here. Okay, boom. It is simply a piece of paper. I actually was told this, which I thought was interesting, and won't prevent. You know what? We got to split this into two. I kind of like this being lower. And hopefully this will make sense once I kind of get there. Okay, so that's going to be here. Okay. Hardened cop. Not really hardened, but... worst face I have ever drawn in my life. He's got like kind of a bit of a 50s hairdo going on. Should I give him some chops? I like that. He's a cop. That looks a little weird. Let me see if I can kind of fix this up. That was kind of a fun. Okay, he's gonna be saying, "Yeah." There we go. That's a little better. Square jaw. I think that actually works. Hands are going to be folded. This is my very, very crappy rough. But I'm trying to go fast here, so I also don't want to sacrifice quality too much, but I also don't want to sacrifice sleep for too long. Okay, that's gonna be his get his like thing in. Okay, there we go. And then we got this, which is gonna be a tie because he's a detective. All right, and then he's gonna have this going on. He's got his shoulder holsters, which I think... let me see. Yep, okay, so it's more like shoulder holster, kind of goes like that. Okay, and then he's gonna have like his... okay, I like it. Let's see if I can get this concerned look. He's got his big chair. No, Chip does not return as an adult. Chip is kind of a filler character um, he's not like a filler character. It's just his arc, as far as the story is concerned, is like sort of over. There is. It's funny though. Like coincidentally, there is a Troy in the second book, but it's not the same Troy. Isn't that weird? Isn't life strange? I thought that was little odd, kind of interesting. So mapping out some shadows here. I do like the idea of this being a little nouveau-ish, the way it's going to work. So there we go. Got all this going on. Okay, 0. How's that look? All right, let's get in there. All right, so now we've got that, and then it's going to be okay. A little bit looser, but that's okay. How are we doing for time? 36 minutes. Okay. Try to wrap this in a short place. That's a good question though. Did you feel like the arc wasn't wrapped? Like I wonder, I feel like I finished his storyline, but I don't know. Did you like it, Frank? Like I'm curious what your thoughts were of the book. Let's see here. And thanks for picking it up, by the way. That's exciting. Frank is going to have me on the Tarako cast on Monday. Should be fun. Wait, are we? Yes, we're doing Monday, like midday. So that should be cool. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. This is going to say it won't prevent yeah, it's kind of interesting because the childhood sequences are almost entirely done in the first book, and then it kind of transfers to um, more present tense with a few callbacks to the childhood stories. But it's interesting. It's like there's a structure that I want to use that's kind of driving to a certain um, like climax and then a resolution and in order to get there it's like these are all little building blocks like of the different kind of sections of the story that are kind of driving to a point which I think will be really cool once I can get there. um, Another yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't think there is more of Chip, but we'll see. Okay, prevent him from seeking another violent confrontation. And this is going to be this dude. What am I doing? Okay. Okay. Okay, that works a little better. And then he's gonna have like his get this through. Yeah, a couple of them come in to play. And it's funny, like a couple of those people are like actually dear friends of mine today. Like the Jake character is actually like a really good friend of mine who lives in Seattle, and he's a good dude. He was actually like the drummer in my band in high school, so we maintained a friendship for a really long time. But a lot of those kids, yeah, I lost touch with, and it does address that a little bit. Like it kind of explains um, a tiny bit of that. But most of, like I said, most of the childhood narrative stuff sort of wraps for the second book, because it's sort of on to like young adulthood. And um, so like the first book, like the main narrative is kind of like loss of faith in humanity and faith in general. And the second book is sort of about like why that happened, and then sort of regaining ground, and sort of regaining faith. So it's like the first book's sort of about like loss of what was sort of an artificial faith in the first place, and then the second book will address sort of like like some of the causality of like the mental illness and um, that kind of stuff, and then get into sort of solution. Uh, not that there is ever a solution to all mental illness or whatever, but it's so he's going to be like, what? Here. Okay. And then she's going to be like, what? Like my explanation of characters, like, oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. But yeah, so like the big story arc is going to be more dealing with, yeah, like a little bit of like what a little bit more detail into, because the first book talks about like panic disorder and depression, and then kind of juxtaposes like sort of like childhood sorrows with like adult sorrows, and childhood loss of faith and what that looks like, and an adult loss of faith and what that looks like. um, and it's sort of interplaying that and sort of building this narrative of also like somebody who's seeking control over their own life and then feeling frustrated at the lack of control. So that's kind of the themes as I see them in the book. And the second book is more of a narrative of like actual loss and like being a victim of violent crime and some other stuff that kind of gives context to like the loss of faith as an adult. And then we'll kind of wrap with the gaining of faith. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I don't want to give away too much. Although if you want a sneak preview, you can always like literally look in the Instagram, because there's 92 pages of thumbnails that you can scroll through and get a little sneak preview, because that's the actual story from page 1 to page 92 so far in rough form. So you won't, it's not like the final finished art, but it gives you a little teaser of what's in the second book. Nice. Frank said I dealt with mental health and mental illness, so I could relate with the book a lot. Yeah, I feel like it's a taboo topic that people don't talk about enough, and I don't think it's as rare for people to experience as we kind of pretend in society it is. So, okay, there we go. And now I just have the last set to go. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I'm gonna actually have, I think, this go to this panel, but like a different expression. So this is going to be probably a little smaller too, so it might be a little pulled away. So let's get this shrunk down a little bit. And then these hands are going to be like out this way. Yep. Worst noodly hand I've ever drawn. Yeah, I think it's important to like to for people to talk about like more openly talk about their struggles with mental health. Because I think like there's a tendency in our society, and we'll get more into this on the Tarako thing on, but it's like there's a tendency in our society to try to kind of gloss over those issues and sort of pretend everything's fine and everyone is a little more normal than they actually are. And the sad thing about that is what it does is kind of like stigmatizes it for people who are struggling. And I don't think it really does um, people a lot of good because, like, while it's not good to like dwell on sadness, it's like it is important to address like people's actual struggles, especially when people go through it, because you can feel like anyone who's gone through a struggle like that, like generally is going to feel pretty alone. And so it's like, I think there's power in the ability to just kind of actually openly talk about um, what people are going through. So nice. Yeah, I'm excited about it too. That'll be a fun conversation. And it's like, it's always a slightly uncomfortable conversation, but I think it's like a good discomfort. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I think it's important for people to try to be vulnerable and open about, um, you know, who they are, warts and all. So, okay, here we go. Let's see. Taking. I'm pretty excited about getting this in. It was highly likely he'd act again. What am I saying? Heed. All right, sorry, I'm just finishing this line. I want to make that text a little wider. Okay. Okay, there we go. Get like the shadows blocked in a little bit here. Okay. Okay. There we go. And I do definitely feel like okay, I want there to be like a little bit of a kind of like Better Business Bureau type plaques, you know, that kind of thing. So this is going to be like a, I don't know, like an award of some kind. It's like a star. I'll probably like do a little research on it, but and then I think maybe there'll be like a photo of like him from like the police academy or something. There we go. Okay, cool. So that gives it a little bit more of a situation. Been meaning to do an episode about faith and creativity, two topics I've wanted to discuss for a while: mental health and faith. Yeah, I'm a fan of both of those topics. It's sort of faith and mental illness is my what my comic's all about. So I'm always happy to talk about it. Let's see. So while we okay. I knew there was something I was missing there. That should say much longer. Okay, there we go. Ooh. And let's do a little bit of that. Okay, voila. Okay. This is going to be, I'm wondering how I can do, got it. I was trying to think of like a beat, you know, to have There's going to be the lamp, desk, kind of sitting there. Might have like this might be a fun angle. If I have like a ceiling fan, why not? Just to keep that like detective vibe, even though it's not going to be like a cliche detectives kind of thing. That might be nice. Okay, let's do it. Okay, and try to do like not like a lot of light. Okay, kind of working out the stuff. Oh, thanks, man. I'm just super loosely working out roughs and thumbnails. Thanks for hopping on, man. So that's Russ. We just had a really cool conversation with Russ on, and actually, you guys should subscribe to that YouTube as well. But yeah, it's cool. Had a lovely conversation on Artcasters with Russ. And then I was gonna live stream this a little bit earlier, and then my camera kind of crapped out, so I had to kind of fix that. Especially because that review show that Corey and I are doing, and I think Scott is going to join us occasionally as well on, was like is reliant on that extra camera. So I was like, I gotta get that fixed before Monday, So being the strange fellow that I am. Okay, so then we're gonna do. This is going to be leaning forward. I'm going to just map that out. So it's going to be him kind of leaning forward a little bit. It's fun to draw these little microscopic dudes. I'd have to zoom in there. Yes, I do need to zoom in there. Okay, so here he's going to be saying, okay, he's going to actually have his arms folded. Okay. And have him kind of worked in there. Love it. Okay. I like that. Been toying with the idea of 2 cameras watching you as tipped my hand. Amazon window is open. Yeah. The cool thing about this is, what I'm envisioning is when like right now I'm doing thumbnails and I'm doing them digitally, so it's not like a big deal. But I also work traditionally, like so for my comic, like I hand write, hand letter, hand ink, the whole thing. And so there's a lot of like cool inking that like it'll be cool because I can have this like this camera like facing down to my art table right here. Oh, did I disconnect? I might have disconnected my camera. But I can have it facing to my art table. See if that'll work better. So my art table below, and it could be like looking down while I'm working on my art. Like, so you'll see an overhead of like the inks, and then this could be a shot, like here, like something like that, where you'll get like a side view of me over the table, and then this one will be top view down, so you can see it inking. That would be killer to see for you, Russ, because like it'd just be fun to see. But for now, I'm just like using the second camera to just show like the Wacom, which is weird that I'm like stuck on an old Cintiq, but I don't even think this is called a Cintiq. I think it's like an Intuos or something. But I don't actually like screen tablets. Although I have a feeling if I got like an iPad with like an Apple Pencil or like an iPad Pro, I think I might end up converting. Because I noticed that with the National Cartoonist Society, where like pre-COVID when we used to meet, the NCSLA like had this moment where like all the cartoonists within like a week started using iPad Pros. I was like, what the hell's going on? And these are guys who've like worked, like traditionally for years. So there we go. Very subtle movement there. Have his hand kind of go down. Boom, like that. But yeah, it's cool to have like the option. Yeah, so I'm using OBS and then OBS through StreamYard. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Ooh, that would be killer to see some traditional inks. I do love the traditional inks. Digital, I like digital for like this for like thumbnails, because it's just nice to have like something kind of loose. I use like the crappy pencil tool on it. I'm not doing anything like magical on it. I do use digital inks and like vector a lot at work and stuff, but um, but I do like the process of like traditionally doing the whole thing. So once I have this mapped out, a lot of this is going to be very traditional. Okay, let's see here. I asked if moving was a good idea. Okay, that's it. Here's another advantage of, let me see what I got here. Okay, got that. Okay, let's do this, and then it's going to be close to wrapped up, which I'm kind of excited about. So it's going to say is moving. But what's cool too is if you are using a tablet that's like a screen, then you could actually have like an overhead camera showing your hand like over the tablet, and then you could have the screen that's like your monitor, and then you could have a shot of your face. Like that would be the advantage of like the two camera thing. Yeah, I think that would be killer. Let's see here. So this is going to say is moving a good idea. I don't like it overlap. I kind of like the idea of having that fan there. Okay. Good idea, or am I just blowing this out of proportion? Oh, let's see. So again, like these are really loose, like rough pencils. I'm kind of trying to do a hybrid of my thumbs and my pencils, so that hopefully it'll cut a little time out of the process later as I get into like the final rounds of this stuff. We'll see. So here we go. But it is funny, like I find that comics just kind of take forever. I don't know. I don't know. Russ, do you have that kind of like where you'll sort of estimate like, oh, this is not going to take any time at all, and then you're like 12 hours later, like, what did I get into? I feel like that's the whole process. Like an amnesiac, like I'll finish a page and forget how long it takes. Okay, so here we go. And then I'm going to merge down. And then I'm actually like pretty close to wrapping it up for the night. So that'll do it for the thumbnails for page 93. I actually kind of made it in a little over an hour, and that was my goal, was to try to knock this out in about an hour. And then yeah, so thanks to everybody. Like, ooh, hang on a sec before I close out. Russ said timing is a nightmare. Yes. So Russ, let me know when you get set up or you're streaming, and it'd be fun to have you stop by on the streams too every once in a while. I do work really weird hours, so if our hours combine, thanks Frank and Corey as well for like stopping by in the chats, and I will probably see you guys later tonight. Hopefully tonight. If it's tomorrow morning at like 1 in the morning, that means I'm still having an issue. Yeah. Cool. So anyhow, thanks. If you guys haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like, if yeah, and then of course, like, go check out Frank's channel. Go check out Comic Book Black Belt. It's a really good YouTube channel. Russ Leach is just a killer artist, and it's awesome to see what he's doing. And I will see you guys later today, probably. I hope, because if it's tomorrow, that means I have massive sleeping problems. All right, guys, have a good night.